We're all stuck in quarantine. I can't get a haircut, and extroverts can't go outside for obvious reasons. But there's a way to get around this. 2 words. Action-adventure games. Wait a minute. From the cosmos and beyond, it's your buddy Novasticious, and no, I wasn't just going to leave for another 6 months. That would be stupid. There's literally nothing else for us to do while we're stuck at home. So let's talk action-adventure games. Sonic Adventure 2. You look at this game and say, that's Sonic alright. I mean, it's in the title. You may have noticed it's also an adventure game. I mean, it's in the title. If you've heard of Sonic, you've heard of this game. People praise it all the time, but it's clear to see that they're just clouded by nostalgia. I mean, look at this scene.
Wow, Tails, you did it! But what are you doing here on this island?
I'm the one who should be asking that question. Don't you know it's dangerous here?
So yeah, this game has its flaws. It has quite a few of them. For starters, any of the stages where you play Tails, they suck. You hold forward, you spam square, you might have to jump over a couple things, but at its core, it's the same thing. It's boring, it's uninteresting, it's uninspired, I don't like it. Another thing that's inherently bad would definitely be the voice acting.
This place sure feels haunted. There's no time to lose. I have to hurry and find the Master Emerald.
Very convincing, Knuckles. On top of that, the camera in the game is very, very poorly implemented, especially in the first Knuckles stage, where I spent at least 25 minutes on the last shard of the Emerald because it was above me. And in this game, you can only move the camera horizontally, but not vertically, so it doesn't make sense to hide something above you. But that's enough of the negatives. Let's talk about the good things about this game. Well, for starters, this is a 10-hour version, and so far I am 5 hours and 43 minutes in. I don't plan on stopping. The soundtrack is amazing. It is way better than any modern album. I mean, come on, who wouldn't listen to Pumpkin Hill over Gucci Gang? Also, you can't not talk about the Chow Garden. The Chows are very, very adorable. You give them an animal, they change some of their limbs to recreate that animal, and that might increase their stats. Like if you gave a bird to a Chow, their fly stat might go up. And you can send those Chow into competitions to then, well, win. And if you look past the bad camera, the stages are very fun, except for Tails's. With Knuckles, you just kind of glide around, climb up walls. The movement is all around pretty nice. And with the Sonic stages, well, need I say more? You go at the speed of sound. Look at this. That is fun. I'd say for the time the game was released, its flaws are forgivable, and I still think it's kind of overrated. But it's better than this. Not that it takes much, but it's something. If you're a Zelda fan, boy have I got news for you. This is a Zelda game. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I asked a lot of questions during this game, such as, what do I do here? How do I get there? Who is that? Where am I? And whose heart is missing a piece? But I feel the mystery and confusion adds to the sense that you're on an adventure on some new island that you've never been on. The game also has a couple of gags here and there, just like how Link picks up Marin when he finally convinces her to go sing to the walrus. This game also has a pretty cool feature where you could steal items from the shop if you get the shopkeeper to look away from the door for long enough for you to get through the door. But once you do this, everyone in the entire map starts calling you Thief instead of by the name that you chose. And if you walk back into the store, the shopkeeper is going to murder you brutally. Stealing a stone, getting the death sentence, it checks out. One last thing to say about this game, it's hilarious every time Link screams. Well, on to the next game. Welcome to Just Cause 4, where your cause to rebel is just, and you kill everyone in the stupidest ways just cause. This is the coolest and stupidest action game of all time, from selling balloons down so you can make cars fly, to gliding around and detonating half of someone's fortress. This is one of my favorite action games, period. I just want to say, I used to play Just Cause 3 all of the time, and while many people don't see a difference between Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 4, I'm personally having a lot more fun of a time with Just Cause 4 than I did with 3. I'm not sure why though. But one thing is for sure, the environment is a lot more enjoyable to glide through and a lot prettier to look at in general. In some places the water looks nice and beautiful, in some places it just looks tremendously horrible, like how could you mess this up that badly? I just can't shake the feeling that the water used to look better in Just Cause 3. There was more shine from the sun, there were ripples and waves, just motion in general. It just looked better in Just Cause 3. But enough of the water, let's talk gameplay. On top of the basic rocket launcher and submachine guns, this game gives you a grappling hook where you could basically, well, grapple towards anything. And you could use that to build momentum with your parachute, which sends you straight upwards. And then after that, you could use your wingsuit to fly around gracefully. And then after that, you can find a vehicle to land on, and place a couple balloons and go flying while on a truck. It doesn't get better than that. I think in this day and age when everyone's trying to get the best art style for their game or super original character arcs, people forget that at its base, video games are supposed to be fun, and Just Cause 4 is a perfect example that you just give people a couple of bullcrap weapons, let them mess around with the physics, they're going to have a fantastic time no matter what, and I am always going to love this game for that. And now for Warframe. Warframe is a game that everyone has seen for free on their platform, but either didn't care enough to download it, or downloaded it and immediately forgot about it. Except for me, I've been playing this game since 2015. One of the common misconceptions with this game is that it's pay to win, and I thought that at first too, but the more I played, the more I realized that it isn't the case. Like, for example, you could buy the best weapon right now, but you might have to be Mastery Rank 14 to use that weapon, even if you bought it with real money. And after 5 years, I'm only Mastery Rank 11, so you can't just get the best weapon, you still have to work to earn the ability to use it. So basically the real money currency is platinum, and the game lets you trade that platinum, so you could still get cosmetics that might cost actual money for free, because you're able to trade that. And on top of that, those weapons, you could just craft them yourself using in-game materials, so you wouldn't have to buy it in the first place. Enough of the money aspect though, let's get into the actual gameplay. There are like 40 frames to choose from, each with their own unique abilities that help your teammates and yourself. You can upgrade your character's stats by using these things on screen right now called mods. They could change your abilities entirely or just make them better. And you could do the same thing for your weapons, having them do more damage, more of a specific elemental type of damage. And if you combine elemental types, you can get different elemental types. There's a large variety of weapons in this game, but here's 4 of the ones I've used. Regular bows, explosive bows, regular snipers, explosive snipers with funny ragdoll physics. This is my personal favorite. And there's many different kinds of missions to do too. You could save a hostage, you could defend a point, you could kill a giant creature in the middle of nowhere. There's like 12 other different kinds of missions and like 7 other bosses, but I'm too lazy to list them all here, so just take my word for it. They are all very, very fun. Oh crap, it's the speed round. So basically, the speed round is where we talk about 9 games, each in about less than 4 sentences, so let's see how well I can do this. Devil May Cry 3. It's an edgy sword and gun game for edgy tweens. The lines are cheesy and the game went from 0 to 100 immediately. You're OP from the start, and I'm guessing that's the point. I barely played because I can only take so much intense emo music at a time. Devil May Cry 4. It's a lot better than the third one. I still can't stand it. GeForce the video game for the PlayStation 3. This game is surprisingly in-depth. Just kidding, it's GeForce the video game for the PlayStation 3, need I say more? Hollow Knight. This game is very fun and I like it a lot. The art is very simplistic, but it adds to the charm. I had a bit of trouble with the bosses, but I eventually made it past. Gravity Rush 2. I think it's pretty easy to say I have absolutely no freaking clue what I just played. Control. It's a pretty good game with abnormal guns and superpowers, so I had tons of fun and I would definitely recommend. Lego Worlds. With customizable characters and many worlds to explore, this game is about as fun as a Lego-based sandbox game could be, so I'd say it's decently good. Batman Arkham Knight. It's a Batman game, so you drive or glide around and beat people up, but you don't kill them because Batman does not kill. Ratchet & Clank 2016. The gameplay is fine, but the conflict of interest between Ratchet and Clank themselves was removed from the story, so it's worse now. Plus, the game is stuck at 30 FPS with sickening motion blur, so I can't stand it. So action-adventure games are probably the most common genre of video games, and for good reason. They are awesome. You could just pick one up and have a blast every time. But it depends on which game specifically, which leads me to this. There's no specific reason why GeForce, the video game for the PlayStation 3, should exist, okay? I would rather play Sonic 06, and that game sucks.